Good evening. It's the end of yet another long, stressful day at work. For all of those who do not like vegetarian cooking, this is the recipe to convert your thinking back to the joys of vegetarianism. At this point, I'll sing one of my most favorite songs. I'll play it on. Do you recognize this song at all? Carly Simon, Coming Around Again. Ingredients for Parmesan roasted zucchini and tomatoes. 2 supermarket sized plastic boxes of cherry tomatoes. You need 4 pods of garlic, but I just use 2 or 3 centimeters of garlic paste. 4 zucchinis, spelled as Zucchinis. You need some salt and pepper. You need some basil. At some point in the recipe I'll indicate it at the right point. You need some extra virgin olive oil to dress it, and you need some Parmesan cheese for coating. This is simply the pepper which I put into here because I'm recording, so I just wanted to add it before I record so it's easy to demonstrate. Zucchinis, you need about 4 zucchinis chopped into these sort of pieces. They should be chunky, but do not grate them. Also, the tomatoes, you do not need to cut the tomatoes at all. You can just cook it uncut, but I prefer to just cut it into half. You might ask me, these are cherry tomatoes, what other types of tomatoes can you use? You can use any tomatoes. You can use blush or sweet Solanto or grape tomatoes or grape Kumato or mini Roma or sweet berry or truss or mini gem or cherry truss, whatever you like for this recipe. I just prefer cherry tomatoes. Who are your favorite singers, by the way? Among all the female voices, I think Whitney Houston is my favorite. Gladys Knight, I like Tina Turner, I like Belinda Carlisle, I like Laura Branigan. A couple of famous songs I sang at Logan in 2010. Also on my YouTube videos, close to 1,000 likes and 1,000 hits. I sang Whitney Houston's song on 31st of December 2010 to celebrate the lovely Logan year of first year advanced training. And I also sang Carly Simon's song as well, Nobody Does It Better, also at Logan soon after getting the endocrine job on a lovely picnic at New Farm in Brisbane. At this point I'll just lower the music and I will continue with the recipe. It's one of the easiest ones. You might ask me, what is this doing here? This is actually an oven recipe, therefore once you actually process the vegetables, it has to go into that baking sheet, which then goes into the oven. So we're going to mix all this together. I'm going to add the zucchini first. To that, we're going to add the tomatoes. And all this we're going to stir them together. Now we're going to add all that pepper. That's about 10 twirls of pepper, very generous. Salt, I like to add lots of salt, very generous helping of salt. All this can be mixed with your hands together into one good mix, but I like to always use a spoon. Then to this you can add a bit of the extra virgin olive oil, mix it all together. And all this goes into the baking tray. This can also be served as an entree for friends. Once again, we can add some more of that extra virgin olive oil on top to coat this. Use a spoon to spread it all apart. And now the Parmesan can be added to it. Here's the Parmesan. I'm going to sprinkle the Parmesan uniformly. You can see me sprinkling the Parmesan. That's what gives it its real biting taste. Now all this has to go into the oven. Typically I like to use 200 degrees centigrade, and you only need 15 or 20 minutes of this in the oven. I've already preheated the oven. I need to roll it a bit. Here are the vegetables coated with Parmesan, the zucchini and tomatoes. And over here you can see I've added some garlic. I've added garlic in the form of the paste from here, but you can also add 2 or 3 garlic cloves inside this. That's also perfectly reasonable, just for the flavor. But in the interest of time, I like to use the garlic cloves, and I just like to blend it in like this. Here's another garlic clove. I'm just blending it in, and the bits of it which I use can spread to all of it. Now at this stage I'm going to add this into the oven, which is all ready at 200 to 250 degrees centigrade for 3 minutes. Here are all the vegetables with the garlic and the Parmesan on top. This is inside the oven. We're going in at 200 degrees centigrade, fan baked for about 15 minutes, after which it will be all ready to serve, and it's very tasty when it's ready. I have just removed this from the oven, and this is a close-up view. You can see what that melted thing where I'll point with my spoon here is all the Parmesan cheese which has melted over the vegetables. You can even see some of the garlic which has melted, and you can see all the vegetables are baked. Now at this stage we can have the option of putting basil leaves, and here's the music again for the finishing touches. Basil leaves. That's a sprinkling of basil. Now it's ready to serve. You can serve this directly or into a serving dish, and have a taste of some of the vegetables now. Mmm! Ooh! Very juicy, very tasty, still fresh, baked. So those of you who don't like vegetarian cooking, this is the one to convert you to vegetarian cooking. Very healthy, very paleo, you won't put on weight. And now, my dear friends, let Kali Simon entertain you. Thank you and good night.